Hello and welcome back to the Right Within podcast. I'm your host, Michaela, the Conscious Queen, and in today's podcast, we have a special guest, my cousin Gigi. She's so full of wisdom and knowledge. She's one of the smartest women I know. And today we're going to be talking about the power of positivity and how being positive in our daily lives can help us. So, why don't you introduce yourself, Gigi? I'm so happy to have you today.
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today.
Happy to have you. We're happy to have you on the show. So, do you want to share a little fun fact about yourself, a little bit of your background?
Yes, I am a clinical social worker. I have been in the field of social work for over 15 years, and
Wow.
I have worked in the field of mental health, working primarily with adults as well as with adolescents as well.
Oh, wow, that's great. So, you have a lot of experience and knowledge about the power of positivity and how that works with our mind. So my first question is how can we train our minds to stay calmer? Because I know, you seem really busy. You have busy lives. We all have busy lives. So what is something that you've seen in your years of working in the mental health field of how to stay calm during your day to day?
I think a good way to learn how to stay calm is just to stay present, stay within the present moment, being mindful of your surroundings, just knowing that everything in this world is temporary. Everything, even the passing moment that you have, the breeze that you feel, the the walk, the steps that you take, the breaths that you have, that you inhale and exhale, is just a moment in time, right?
Yeah.
So to stay calm is just about just taking, being relative, taking things into perspective, and just realizing that, what, it's important to just don't think about the past, don't think about the future, because those things you have no control over. Just
Absolutely.
stay mindful and stay in the present moment. Just be present, and just think that not everything is going to happen. When it does happen, is going to last forever.
Right, right.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I feel like that's super powerful, just being able to stay present with ourselves and not stress about things that haven't happened yet or stress about things that happened years ago, right? Really, the only moment that matters is the present moment. So I'm so happy that you said that. Do you have like a story or an experience in your life where you had to really kind of get a hold of your positivity, right? Where you had to like really kind of persevere or go through something that was mentally challenging or just challenging in general, where you had to really like, be positive and step into that energy.
Yeah. Well, in one of my fields of employment, I worked in a correctional facility, and it's very, very challenging to work with incarcerated individuals or
Mhm.
inmates.
Right.
And I think there was a lot of times when I had to practice staying mindful and staying present, when you're working with such a challenging population, um, and then even listening to their stories, and helping them out in the field of mental health, is a lot of vicarious trauma, a lot
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
trauma that is passed on to the worker, because of you taking on what their burden and helping them. Sometimes the trauma can be passed on to you.
Yes, this is
S
called an energy transference.
okay.
Yes, this is what happens when someone is basically like trauma dumping and you take on that energy, but keep going.
It's
Yeah. I'll talk about it after you finish.
okay,
I don't mean to
but
interrupt, sorry.
it's okay. But yeah, there's a lot of vicarious trauma, and and it's important, for me, like, in the field, as just provide that as an example, that, I have to, stay focused and stay positive, 'cause, not to, veer away from, what my feelings and what my thoughts are, but just saying, okay, I'm here for this moment, helping this person, and I'm doing the best that I can to help and assist this individual, and just to not, it's not to focus so much on myself, but just to focus on and how that person is feeling, what that person's doing, and just in that moment help that person out. So
Right.
that's an example, of how I've dealt with it. It's just to, again, stay mindful and stay positive.
Right, right. And so basically, through your helping of someone else, you kind of, I guess that empathy allowed you to stay positive, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that, like, okay, I'm gonna be here for this person. I'm gonna allow them to talk, whatever,
Hmm.
and I can open them up and I can give them something to look forward to.
Yes.
So it's a really hard job, and I feel like you do a great job at it, And I have another question because I touched about this a little bit earlier, the energy transference, right? Because, I'm very spiritual and I believe that we are not just people, right? Like we have spirits, we have souls. And so when someone is talking and they're putting their energy onto another person, how can we cleanse ourselves of this energy? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's like, maybe they tell you a story and it's a lot. How do you cleanse yourself? How do you, say, you know what, I'm gonna kind of step away from this or not take things so personal?
Do practice self-care. It's really important, to take a step back and to take care of yourself. If something is just too overwhelming and too stressful in that moment, just focusing on yourself is ideal, and it's very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Either doing mindful meditation, either going for a walk, or going to just reading a good book, or watching your favorite TV show, something that brings you joy.
Yes,
So it's just,
yes.
just to take care of yourself, and just to kind of like a rewind, like, hey, don't keep on taking on this baggage.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. You're human too.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just think that self-care is very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I totally agree with you're saying. Taking some time out to do something for you, right? And not just always, kind of, I guess, being in somebody else's energy, right?
Yes.
So that's a really good point. Um, about positivity, I feel like, I've struggled with this in my life. I'm a student and I feel like sometimes I just can't do it. Like I can't be positive, right? Like I'm so stressed out and so many things are happening. So, what are some things that we can do in the moment, right? Because, like, sometimes you feel stress and like maybe you don't know what to do in that exact moment. What are some strategies that our listeners can use, when they're feeling stress in that moment? How can they be positive kind of like in an instant?
How can they stay positive in the moment?
Yeah, like in that moment. Yeah.
Um, I would say, if you're spiritual, use prayer. Um,
Yes.
if you are, you know, creative, tap into that creativity. Do something positive, and do something, think about minding your peace, taking care and protecting your peace. Just being, just keeping things in perspective, taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
taking a hot bath, either, reading a good book, just taking care of yourself. Like I said, again, self-care is very important.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to talk about like breathing.
Deep
I feel like that's
breathing,
a big
yes.
one.
Take
Yeah.
deep breaths, count to 20, count back. You know,
Yeah.
just, going for walks. That's very, very helpful.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these are things that we can do in the moment to stay
Hmm.
positive, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and the thing is that people get angry, right?
Yes.
We get sad, we get angry, we get mad. It's normal, right?
Yes.
But there are certain strategies and there are certain things that we can do so that we don't take that energy out on other people, right?
Right.
So that goes into like breathing, like you said, taking a walk,
Yes.
and just like, I guess, transforming that energy into something positive,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, I feel like this is a really, really good podcast. Let me see. Is there anything you want to share about your life? How you stay positive, like personally, for our listeners.
Uh, what I just do is some of the things I shared with you all. Try to stay focused, stay in the present moment. Don't take things, too personally. Mindful meditation is so important. Just taking deep breaths. Closing your eyes, relax. Just find a quiet space and just try to be one with yourself. And just, and give yourself a pat on the back. Tell yourself it's going to be okay. It's so
Yes.
important.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Like the what's it called? Like affirmations.
Yeah, self affirmation.
Oh my gosh, like ever since I discovered affirmations, this has been helping me stay positive like my whole life. Well, not my whole life, but until I discovered affirmations. Just like kind of repeating things to yourself like, it's going to be okay. I'm fine. This I love my favorite one is this too shall pass, and things like that. So, I think that's it for today, Gigi. Thank you so much
You're
for coming
welcome.
on my show. I totally so appreciate having you. Next episode we will be talking about how to attract a soulmate. We're gonna be talking, or I'm gonna be talking about like a spiritual perspective on how to attract a soulmate, someone that is, kind of coming in with love and appreciation and grace and kindness, okay? So tune in to next week's episode and stay right within.